Once upon a time, there was a kind shoemaker who lived with his wife. Though he was hardworking, they were very poor. One evening, the shoemaker said sadly, "We only have enough leather to make one last pair of shoes. If no one buys them, we'll have nothing left." The shoemaker cut the leather and left it on his workbench, planning to sew the shoes the next morning. Then he went to bed, feeling worried but hopeful. The next morning, the shoemaker went to his workshop and gasped in amazement. On his workbench was a beautiful pair of shoes, perfectly made. Who could have done this? He wondered. Soon, a customer came into the shop and bought the shoes for a very good price. With the money, the shoemaker was able to buy more leather. That night, he cut the leather for 2 more pairs of shoes and left it on his workbench. The next morning, the shoemaker found 2 pairs of shoes, even more beautiful than the first. Again, customers came and paid him well. The shoemaker bought even more leather and left it out that night. This went on for several nights. Each morning, the shoemaker found more shoes, and soon he and his wife were no longer poor. One evening, the shoemaker said to his wife, "We must find out who is helping us. Let's hide and watch tonight." So they hid behind a curtain and waited. At midnight, 2 tiny elves appeared. They wore old, ragged clothes, but they worked quickly and skillfully, sewing the leather into perfect shoes. By the time the sun rose, the elves had finished their work and disappeared. The shoemaker's wife said, "Those poor elves, their clothes are so worn. Let's make them some new ones to thank them for their kindness." The shoemaker and his wife worked together to sew tiny shirts, trousers, coats, and shoes. That evening, they left the gifts on the workbench and hid again. At midnight, the elves appeared. When they saw the new clothes, their eyes lit up with joy. They put them on and danced around happily. Then they left the shop and never returned. The shoemaker and his wife never saw the elves again, but they were forever grateful. Their shop continued to thrive, and they lived happily ever after. The end.